right, welcome back to the RockStop. Chris Contra here. And I have a very special guest on the phone line right now. We were playing some of the music off his latest album a little earlier, Angelic to the Core. I'm joined now by the man himself, Corey Feldman. How you doing, man?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Doing good. First and foremost, want to say that I'm glad to see you guys are doing all right. I've been watching some of your Facebook Live videos, and looks like you were caught in some pretty nasty weather here in the Midwest.
Man, we have gone through the ringer on this tour already, and we just got started. It's crazy, right? Like, I mean, nothing like global warming, but, you know, you go out in the middle of end of June, you know, early July, you expect to do a nice, peaceful summer tour, and then you end up in, like, 3 tornadoes in a week. What are the odds of that?
Yeah.
Really, it's crazy.
I saw you guys out on the out on your boat out there in the hailstorm. I mean, it looked pretty bad.
It was brutal. I've literally never experienced a storm like that in my lifetime. So, you know, especially coming from LA, you know, usually the biggest thing that we have to worry about is earthquakes, but we don't really worry about tornadoes. So,
right.
You know, for us, it's kind of like, you know, it's almost like ghosts or UFOs or something. It's like the thing of fable and myth. Like, oh, yeah, you go out to the Midwest, they got tornadoes. You know, they're going to chase you down. And we're like, yeah, right. You know, cut to us in our bus, and we see storm chasers passing us.
Yeah, right.
Like 100 miles an hour, and we're like, oh, no.
You're right in the midst of it, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You know, I just want to say, as far as your Facebook Live and stuff, I think that's terrific. I think you really know how to interact with your fans at a great level, and I think it creates a great vibe.
Yeah, I love engaging, you know. I mean, for me, it's just fun. I think it's great. First of all, just how involved people get. And I think I learned a while ago that, like, look, if your social media, you know, is a platform to connect you to the fans, and the fans truly see this as, you know, a way to you, and they realize they're talking directly to you, it's such a great way to clear out so much of the BS that's out there. Because, you know, so many celebrities hide behind their publicists. They hide behind their, you know, image and the whole fakeness of it all. And for me, it's kind of the opposite. I'm like, yo, you know what? This is a great way for fans to hear the truth and to get to know the real me. Because otherwise, you can just be out there, you know, perpetuating a lie and hiding behind the smoke screen. And for me, that's not what it's about. I would rather, you know, people see the truth. The truth to me is so much more interesting and so much more exciting than, you know, the fake image that people like to hide behind. So anyway, I guess that's the way I've always been. And, you know, now I feel like it's finally at a point in my life where that's playing out and coming to fruition in a way that it's kind of surprising people, because I think most people don't go that way. It's just so kind of against the grain for Hollywood, for anybody to do that I think people are kind of like opening their eyes and going, oh, wow, this guy's a little different. He's not your typical egomaniac, you know?
Right on, yeah. And I thought it was great that you did that telethon to raise awareness for autism through Facebook Live. I thought that was a great cause on top of it.
Well, thank you. Well, I thought that was a beautiful cause. I was very grateful, actually, to have been asked to be a part of that. And the way it worked was really after that Today Show appearance that I did, and people were picking on us and bullying us and stuff. I showed up at this, you know, event for autism, which I attend regularly, events for various charities, but autism is one of them that I, you know, supported for many years. And so when I showed up there, the people who own the charity, they said, listen, we love what you're about. We love your music, your films, but we also feel that, like, people can relate to you in a very special way because of what you've been through and the way that people have treated you recently.
Yeah.
We feel that we can use this as a sentiment against, you know, autism in general, you know, the way people are treating them, you know, because a lot of people with autism, you know, obviously they have special needs, but that doesn't make them, like, they're not, like, sick or they're not, you know, diseased, you know.
Right,
it's a different thing. It's more of a specialty, I guess you would say. Like, you know, they have their own reality, which, you know, is a pretty amazing reality in many cases. And I like to consider them gifted more than, you know, having a setback. And I guess they see it that way, you know, at the organization as well. And so we said, look, yes, we've all been judged. We've all been mocked and had things said about us that are uncomfortable or not fun. And, we have to live with those realities, and we have to learn how to face our adversity and move forward and not let people, push you back or bully you or whatever. And you just got to keep moving forward. And so we used that as the anchor, and it became Corey's Autism Angels, a fight against bullying and raising awareness for autism. So it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, great cause. And speaking of the Today Show appearances, which, why do you think so many people did trash you guys so much? I don't understand that. I mean, I've seen plenty of performances on the Today Show that really could have been trashed and weren't. I don't know. I really don't know why you guys were picked on like that.
Well, I like to think that there is a bit of a conjoined effort amongst certain members of the lowbrow media to kind of destroy certain people's image and put negative thoughts out there. It's like subliminal advertising, when the studios and the record companies see somebody out there that is for the first time breaking into the independent world by hitting the mainstream music charts and hitting, the Billboard Top 40 and actually securing yourself a Billboard Top 40 hit outside of the mainstream without the support of the big money, the big corporations, the big record labels. When they see somebody breaking that mold and selling out massive tickets all over the country, people start to go, oh, wait, what's he got? What's he doing?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they don't like that.
Right.
They don't like that. So they want to beat you down, and they want to make it look like you're a joke and you can't be taken seriously and you're not a force to be reckoned with, because that is money out of their pocket.
That's true.
It's their mistake that they forgot, that at the time that I was shopping my label or my record back in the day when I wanted to get record deals, nobody wanted to hear about it. Nobody wanted to take me seriously. They all wanted to write me off as a joke because I was an actor. Well, then I go out and I make a couple hit records. All of a sudden, they're going, wow, this is money that we're losing. So we have two options. We either, try and fight to get him to come to our side, or we try and trash him and make him look like he's the weaker party, which they did, and unfortunately it backfired for them. And now there's an upswing, and the upswing is we're killing it all over the country, including tonight, where we're very excited to be playing
the Arcada Theater.
The Arcada Theater, that's right, outside of Chicago in St. Charles. We're excited about it. It's, this is one of the nicer theater-style venues on the tour.
That's a great theater, and I think you guys are going to pack the place, because I know a lot of people around here that I've been talking to are really looking forward to this tour. They've been, they're so glad you're finally coming through. I mean, the tour, from what I've seen, it looks like just so much fun, and I had Melanie Kinnaman on this program a couple weeks ago. She was in Friday the 13th Part 5, who you were in that movie briefly in the beginning because you were shooting Goonies. You couldn't, do that whole film, right?
Right.
Yeah, so anyway, she was on the show and we got to talking about you, and she mentioned your passion for music. She says, she sees it, and I think a lot of people see your passion for doing music, not just acting.
Right, exactly. Well, it's part of who I am, and people need to just kind of accept that. It's always been who I am, and it's always been such a big part of my career, and that's the thing that, kind of shocks me about why the adversity and how much fight back there is, because it's like, guys, do we forget to connect the dots? I've done 10 film soundtracks. Taking people through that kind of time capsule and that roller coaster ride of what, how it all started, and connective tissue of the fact that, like, look, guys, I have really been doing this since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I started off by singing, getting auditions so that I could get parts in commercials. That's how it all happened for me.
You mentioned,
and then I went right into doing musicals.
Right. You mentioned soundtracks, and you do a couple of songs from some of your soundtracks during the this tour you're on. And one that I really have been enjoying is "Cry Little Sister" from the Lost Boys soundtrack. Yeah, it's outstanding.
Yeah, I didn't write that one.
Yeah, but it's a great performance you do of it. You and the Angels.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think. And by the way, I just want to talk about the Angels band.
Fans seem to love it.
Yeah, it's a fan favorite, and the Angels band. I mean, a lot of people think, you see the band and think, man, it's beautiful women, but there are some talented women in that band.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you believe it? I know, that's the best part. See, to me, that's my secret weapon. Like, yes, I'm very proud of the music we create, and yes, I'm very proud of the live show that I put on, but the thing that is, really the anchor of this tour is this is the Angel Tour. This is not, Corey's solo tour by himself. This is not a Truth Movement tour. This is tour. And you can't do an Angel Tour without really showcasing and spotlighting the angels in a very special way. Each and every one of them. And each and every girl on that stage gets their own moment in the spotlight, their own time to shine, and really is exemplary at everything that they do. Meaning each girl up there is a multi-instrumentalist, and many of them are singers and songwriters in their own right. So we give them a moment to either do their own composition or do some very impressive in their own field, which if you come to the show tonight, you will see one of the things that certainly to me is one of the most impressive moments of the show is when we call it a showstopper, when we have our 20-year-old male guitarist come out and play Eddie Van Halen's Eruption.
Nice.
That shows you the level of expertise and skill that we're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, you guys go to the show tonight at the Arcade Theater. You're going to see, I mean, each girl is showcased. Corey Feldman doing all the hits that, and I mean, all the hits. I mean, you really provide some quality entertainment for your fans. I mean, I personal favorite song that I like is "Duh." I love it. And I dig the music video too for it. I mean, are you think you'll be doing any more music videos?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I can't help it. As a matter of fact, I wish I could be doing one right now, but it's so hard. I was thinking I could, kind of throw a music video in along the way. It's just so difficult because you're running and gunning so fast, But I think somewhere in between. We're going to be on this tour, I believe, for quite a while because the word is spreading like wildfire. And it seems every show gets bigger and bigger and more people are coming and we're selling out bigger and bigger venues. And who knows where this is going to lead, but hopefully one day there are arenas and stadiums. Nothing more.
Absolutely. And I got to say, in case you guys are unable to make it to the show tonight at the Arcade Theater in St. Charles, there's another chance to see Corey and the Angels at the Forge in Joliet on July 1st. So if you're unable to make it tonight, try to catch them then. They put on a great show. So
we're in the middle of 6 shows in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard in your Facebook live post you had a couple days off there when you got stuck in that hailstorm.
Right. So our only days off were dealing with hell and craziness. So yeah, it's been a rough ride, but hey, a rough ride to heaven, as Paul McCartney once said, and we're ready to take that challenge. So let's rock and roll.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing I want to say about the some of the set lists that you guys do, the song "Take a Stand" that you did on the Today Show, which was, I really enjoyed that. And now you're doing sort of a stripped down acoustic version. Is that going to stay in the set like that, or?
Wow, very, very observant of you. The thing about our show, we do promise that it is a bit of a different show every single night. Although it is a 2-hour set in most cases, it's kind of interchangeable parts. So we've added big chunks to the show that weren't there in the mini tour. We've, taken away certain elements, and we just kind of change it up depending on the vibe, depending on the crowd, depending on the room, the theatrical aspects of the production, what we can achieve, what we can't achieve. We do have a section where we, in some shows do a stripped down acoustic version of a bunch of my songs, which is a lot of fun, and it's, it kind of brings the audience in a more intimate way. But that works, ironically, better in the bigger venues. When you do it in the smaller venues, I feel like it creates too much of a lull in the show, and then it makes people think like, it's falling apart or it's dissipating or whatever, because it brings things down really, dramatically. But in a big venue, it's exciting because, you're watching all this kind of big production stuff, and then you get to like have this intimate moment where things get stripped down. So, I find that moment works better in the bigger venue. So I'm sure there's a good possibility we'll be doing it tonight.
Cool. All right. So you guys, I encourage all my listeners to go check out Corey and the Angels. It's going to be a fun time. How would you describe?
And hopefully, I'll keep my tooth in this time.
Yeah, right. I saw about that. It's kind of making the rounds on Twitter and stuff. You had a little mishap there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I decided I was going to change the name of my band once again to the Tooth Movement.
Right.
Just joking. Something in My Mouth was the name of the song we were working on.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. There's all the jokes.
All the jokes. Did you ever find that tooth?
Yeah, no, it wasn't me that found it. It was an audience member. That was the greatest part of it. This wonderful woman named Chris. I think it was Christina. But anyway, she like popped up out of the front row and she's like, I found it. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And she's got it in her hand. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I grabbed it and put it back in.
Yeah.
So,
hey, man, it gets wild.
Saved by the fan in the front row. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And she's coming again tonight, ironically.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
She became such a hardcore fan after watching the show that she decided she wanted to, like, basically become an angel head and drive around and follow us for the next 3 shows. So,
oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's great. So that last...
We have our guiding angels. See? You see how this works?
It came full circle.
That's right.
Yeah.
I protect them, they protect me. It all works out.
Excellent stuff. All right. Well, before I let you go, I got to ask you one movie-related question. I mean,
okay.
I think what would you say is the movie you get asked about to talk about more than any? I mean, if I had to guess, I would say it's Goonies. Is that accurate?
You know what? Everybody's got their favorite. It's, I could be talking to one person and they could be like wholeheartedly Goonies and that's it, and that's my thing. And then you could talk to another person and it's like, oh man, Lost Boys. What do you mean? Of course it's Lost Boys. And then you talk to another person, it's like, no man, it's Friday the 13th. And you talk to another person, it's like, oh, it's Rock and Roll High School. And you talk to another person, it's like, oh, it's The Burbs.
Right on.
Everybody really has their, like, their favorite one they love. But then, the real fans, you know what I'm talking about. They're the ones that love it all, and they just like it. So I love them, and it's a love fest. Let me tell you, it's a love fest.
And you mentioned Friday the 13th is excellent role performance in that movie, the final chapter. And I also want to compare.
Hey, nothing says peace and love like a Friday the 13th movie.
Well, and I just want to also say you did a great job narrating that documentary, Crystal Lake Memories. That was the most in-depth documentary I think I've ever seen, and it was really excellent.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I think it was fun for me just to kind of tease the audience a little bit, because we've been talking about me returning to that franchise for so long.
Yeah, right.
Even though there was no way to really make it happen at this point, but just the tease of it almost makes it worth it.
Yeah.
It's like a strip club, watching that documentary is like going to a strip club.
Yeah. Right on.
Anyway, I got to get running because we got to get to sound check, but God bless you and thank you for the great interview, and hopefully we'll see you out there tonight.
All right, absolutely. Everybody go check them out at the Arcada Theater. Corey, thanks for doing this, and take care, man.
Absolutely. God bless.